Albert Einstein is undoubtedly one of the greatest minds in the history of science. From the theory of relativity to the equation E=mc², his discoveries and theories have shaped our understanding of the universe. However, despite his incredible achievements, there is one part of Einstein's story that is often overlooked: the strange and controversial fate of his brain after his death. In 1955, at the age of 76, Einstein passed away in Princeton, New Jersey. As news of his death spread around the world, scientists and researchers began to wonder if there was anything that could be learned from studying his brain. At the same time, a pathologist named Dr. Thomas Harvey was conducting the autopsy on Einstein's body. Harvey had long been fascinated by the brain and had even studied it as a medical student. When he saw Einstein's brain during the autopsy, he knew that he had to do something to preserve it. Without seeking permission from Einstein's family, Harvey removed the brain and took it back to his lab. Over the years, Harvey would keep the brain in jars in his basement, slicing it into thin sections and sending samples to other scientists for analysis. He hoped that by studying Einstein's brain, he could unlock the secrets of his genius. For a while, Harvey's work went unnoticed, but eventually, people began to ask questions. Why had he taken the brain without permission? Was it ethical to use the brain for research without the family's consent? These questions would ultimately lead to one of the most bizarre and controversial stories in the history of science. Before we move ahead, are you ready for a quick quiz about Albert Einstein? Here are 3 amazing facts about the man himself. See if you can guess which one is false. 1. Einstein was offered the presidency of Israel. 2. Einstein was a competent musician who played the violin. 3. Einstein failed his first university entrance exam. Which one do you think is false? Leave your answer in the comments below. The controversy over Einstein's brain began in the 1970s when Harvey's work became public knowledge. The media picked up the story, and soon, people around the world were talking about the strange fate of Einstein's brain. Some saw Harvey's work as a valuable contribution to science, while others believed that it was a violation of Einstein's privacy and the rights of his family. Despite the controversy, Harvey continued to work on the brain, even trying to donate pieces of it to museums and other researchers. He even allowed journalists and filmmakers to film him slicing the brain and working on it in his lab. However, the attention only made things worse. The more people learned about Harvey's work, the more outraged they became. Many felt that he was treating Einstein's brain like a commodity, rather than as the remains of a human being. In 1978, after years of controversy and legal battles, Harvey finally returned the brain to Princeton Hospital. It was examined by a team of scientists who hoped to learn more about the structure and function of the brain. However, the damage had been done. Harvey had violated the trust of the Einstein family and had turned one of the greatest minds in history into a spectacle. The story of Einstein's brain didn't end there, however. Despite returning the brain to Princeton Hospital, Harvey continued to act in strange ways. He often talked about the brain to anyone who would listen, sometimes even trying to sell or donate pieces of it to researchers and private collectors. His behavior was erratic, and many people believed that he was suffering from a form of dementia or mental illness. In 1998, Harvey's behavior finally caught up with him. He was forced to return all the remaining brain tissue to Princeton Hospital and lost his medical license. The strange saga of Einstein's brain had finally come to an end. However, the legacy of Dr. Harvey's actions lives on. For many, the story of Einstein's brain is a cautionary tale about the ethics of scientific research, and the importance of respecting the wishes of the deceased and their families. In the end, it is hard to say what, if anything, was learned from studying Einstein's brain. Some studies found that the brain had more glial cells than the average person, while others found that it had more connections between certain areas. However, none of these findings could fully explain Einstein's genius or provide a clear answer to the question of what made him so special. Despite this, the story of Einstein's brain remains a fascinating and controversial chapter in the history of science. It raises important questions about ethics, privacy, and the responsibility of scientists to respect the wishes of the deceased and their families. Ultimately, the legacy of Einstein's brain is a reminder that even the greatest minds of history are still human, and that their remains deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Thanks for tuning in to learn about the bizarre and controversial story of Albert Einstein's brain. Remember to leave your guess for the quiz in the comments, and stay curious.